Discombobulated here. I don't know why, but I can't stay out of the mountains. I've been going out into the wilderness or one way or another almost every day. I came up so far this time, I'm a little bit worried about getting back down. And I know I didn't bring enough water. I didn't plan on coming up this high. But I just had a lot of nervous energy. There's a country song, I think it's Chris Stapleton. It says, demons knock harder when you're almost free. And I had really felt like that godlight stirring in me over the past week and just feeling a lot better, a lot more energetic. And then last night, I don't know, I started thinking a lot about the past and just kind of realizing that I'd been a crummy brother and a crummy son and a crummy husband and a crummy father. And just like I feel like I have a whole lot to ask for forgiveness for, and but I think it was a good realization. I really do. Back in the day, after my divorce, I spent a lot of time in the rooms of AA and working the 12-step program. And it occurred to me as of late that I could go back to AA even though I'm not having a drinking situation exactly. And then if you think about the first step from AA, it's admitted that we were powerless over alcohol and that our lives had become unmanageable. And then I was thinking that I could replace that today with admitted we were powerless over the actions of others and that my life had become unmanageable. And I was thinking that my problem with getting along with men whether it's because I grew up poor, because I grew up a Jehovah's Witness and kind of suffered that humiliation of being drugged door to door, or whether it was my dad or whether it was my grandpa or a boss or a manager or like crummy co-workers, it kind of doesn't even matter anymore. And then step 2 is I'm just blanking on step 2 here. Came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. And I really think that's the key here, that's really the only way for an old guy like me who's had that pattern for so long in his life and just kind of lived my life, wearing that jacket of not getting along with guys or whatever. And so I felt like that was a real, I don't know, I feel like it was spiritual progress, And then over the past week, I've had a lot of spiritual experiences that are kind of hard to explain, and just my energy getting better and feeling better, and I'm feeling so compelled to come up in the mountains all the time. And I just feel so much better up here. I just feel like a normal person, and I don't even feel, I don't have that feeling of being nothing like I have when I'm down there in the city and the rest of the world. And I realized that I could carry this feeling down there with me, and that I could just set myself free of that and quit walking in those horrible shoes that I had sort of made for myself and just get on with life. I found some interesting news out also. I got the results back from the testosterone test, and it was normal. I was kind of bummed because I was hoping it was real low and that was what my problem was. But no, it was right in the normal range. Maybe even slightly in the above normal range. So, doggone it. But so now I'm kind of focusing on trying to work. I've been going to AA meetings at almost one a day. When I'm not out here in the woods, I've been doing that. And then I still have an appointment coming up to see if Adderall might be right for me. I don't know. I'm feeling less and less like I need that now. The more and more I feel sort of that godlike taking hold of me, and that spiritual connection, and all the praying and the thinking and the asking for forgiveness and just admitting, my faults and my character defects. And I don't really know what's happening. I definitely don't have any answers for anybody else. All I know is there's something stirring inside me, and it seems like it's promising. It feels so promising. And then the other last thing was maybe that mushroom trip idea. I still kind of want to hammer my brain with that and see where that takes me. I feel like there's some spiritual progress to be had there, but I don't know. That's kind of a sketchy topic, I was thinking maybe I'll start to lay some groundwork for the story of some women that I used to know. And when I first got out of college, the university, Florida Atlantic University, I had really gotten into black and white photography and really into different darkroom techniques, like antique techniques and stuff like that. And so I built a darkroom at my house, and I had met some other photographers, mostly women. They were doing family portraits and like beach photos and like, say, mom and baby type stuff that was real popular then. It's probably still popular now, but the black and white thing was kind of, I don't know, it was kind of, I don't know if you could say it was the rage or something then, but anyways, so the word got around that I was developing, black and whites, and sometimes these other photographers would come over and bring me negatives and have me print, make some prints for them. And at that time I was living with the real hag that I had gotten mixed up in. And just another one of those horrible relationships where like there was really no love between us anymore. We hadn't had sex in probably 6 months, And anyways, I get a call, and it's this lady, this portrait photographer. She had some difficult negatives that they couldn't print at the regular print house. And so I told her to bring them over. I'd do what I can. And then one beautiful day there in Florida, there was a knock at the door. And I opened the door, and there was the prettiest woman I'd ever seen was standing there. And I felt something like stirring me just right away. It just was like, she was, her hair was beautiful. She had on really cool earrings, little petite, little blonde, dressed nice, smelled good. The list just kind of goes on and on there. Anyway, so I brought her in back to the darkroom. I had a little studio, like a little office set up there too, and so we talked and just about stuff, about what she was doing and whatnot. And then so I printed her negatives for her. They were difficult to print. They were overexposed, so it took a lot of work, but they came out pretty decent. And so I was living with that gal that I had mentioned before, and this woman, she was married and had a child that was like 4 years old. She was married to a golf pro, a cigar chomping golf pro. I figured he didn't take care of her, treat her that good, and he was kind of a dick. And over time, she would come over and we would talk more. We'd look at photography books and listen to the stereo and just kind of spend time together. And then we started going out shooting together. She was learning how to use the medium format camera, and I had a medium format camera. And I would talk to her about f-stops and shutter speeds and composition concepts like the rule of thirds and and by the by, she would come over more often. And one day I was standing by my drafting table, and she was right there next to me, and she just kind of leaned in and she said, "I could just kiss you." And then I just moved towards her and I kissed her. We kissed, and it was the sweetest kiss I'd ever known. It was like a slice of heaven, and I just felt like all this rush of love, just like a fairy tale, just swirled around me and went down inside of me and filled me up in a way that I can't even describe it, the words, just how good it felt, how wonderful it was. And it's starting to hail right now, and I came up so high I'm a little worried about how I'm going to get back down. And it's pretty cold today too. It's pretty cold up here. But I think maybe I'll leave the story right there, and I'm going to have to make some moves to get myself back down the hill. I didn't bring enough water. I did not bring enough water. I wish I brought more water. But I'll make it. It's all downhill, and it's cool. It's not like I'm, sweating it all out. But, so, yeah, I'm just going to leave it right there. And then I will see you guys next time.